thinking about this league and just Texas in particular, and talking with a lot of coaches and how the teams are moving around to like the different regions, I can't help but go back to my own experience in playing travel ball in Southern California. That's what we did. It's basically we moved from region to region. It was unspoken that you know, would play in each other's tournaments. And then that's kind of how the talent was able to keep, I mean, it exploded and you saw it. And I'm hoping, and maybe I'll ask this question to you, is that something that could potentially happen with teams having a more steady schedule? They're playing the best teams in their regions. Could we see just even more talent emerge from some of these regions?
Yeah, one of the things that excites me is this is not just a good disruptive move with coaches that have the leverage. We're just one part of it. There is an infrastructure part of this, because I've always longed, and anyone in softball knows that, look inside softball organizations and you don't see corporate structure. You see softball structure. You know, you see somebody killing themselves to manage the finances out of pocket.
Yeah.
And then from a business standpoint, for myself, it was embarrassing, right? Because I wasn't equipped. You know, the learning curve is there, and I'm really proud of the progress that's taken place. In this particular situation, we have the infrastructure in the system, so database management, how the systems all communicate, even from region to region, that's being built. But to get to that point, what I'm really proud of is what Sean Bashir has brought to the table and some of our advisors, and that is something that will compare to NCAA or even pro sports, right? So like if we're going to keep statistics, and this is again because we know softball dialogue, we're keeping statistics and we're in a drop dead game and somebody hits a home run, and then now that stat doesn't count and we know that someone's going to be upset. But then you go over to our communications director, Sean, and he goes right to you and goes, so what happens when the Astros, you know, play and they hit a home run in the fourth inning and the game's rained out? It doesn't count. That's just the way it is. We all understand that. So I'm proud that we're replicating models that you see more at higher levels of sports, because then it can create that consistency. And then, yeah, Chez, that ultimately, and this is just way down there now, this is a Tony Rico thought, if there could be a point to where, yeah, there was league structure and a league schedule and just kind of really in the pocket to minimize traveling, minimize expenses, but still allow the teams, because this is also something we're baking in, allow the teams that need to travel. There are teams in Arizona, you know, and it's a smaller base region, right? So they travel to California a lot, and they do that for competition, you know, and they need to do that for competition. We're lucky in Southern California with the top competition that we have. So how can we enable that type of routine for a team that needs that, but also help a team in Arkansas that just wants to acquire points, right? To be able to be relevant in the standing, to not always have to travel to Texas or somewhere else. So there's a lot of things on the inside. That's some great collaborations of some great minds. To be honest with you, usually at the beginning of meetings, I'm talking about how we all relate to each other. And then I just shut up and listen, because we've got some amazing people putting this together.
Will there be a point where these regions face off against each other?
Everything's possible, right? You know, again, we originally, and again, it's an inclusive project, right? So we've given everybody in America an opportunity to be part of this. This is not a closed door anything, right? So again, open arms, open doors, please join us. And then what you'll see is people that have just chosen to join us. Our only mission is to create, again, more balance within the industry, and we're going to continue to listen to what's happening in the industry. Yes, I see a possibility a strong possibility for the regions, even if it's being creative. One region just having something like the Texas-California football games, right? So in the region, but also, yeah, there's right now something in place that is more of a GPS, you know, if you were to put it in today's terms. We would love to provide for all organizations and people in softball across America a template and a roadmap for them to be able to build their operations. And so to take all of these different levels of success, so if you took like the Bombers, Batbusters, and Firecrackers, just as 3 examples of what we've been able to do, and be able to help all of the people that would love to do that with their organizations, branding, building, things like that. So we would love to provide a central source of information so that people can be able to do this, right? So they can be efficient in building what they want to be and have a good model to follow. So
Mm-hmm.
I see it going to a lot of areas, including regional competition and things like that. But a lot of that still has to be answered because the TFL disrupted this thing pretty fast. There was no TFL talks 4 months ago, so it all happened within the quarantine. They needed to make it happen, and they're kicking off play right now, which is great. But there's just a lot in front of us, Chez. I will just tell you, we have committed people that are willing to answer, and we want to listen. We're listening to people, so we want to answer the call of our industry.